There is a certain kind of dream that has shaped the modern world, a dream of order, of clarity, of a society designed, not grown, a world where confusion is eliminated, where everything has its place, where human life itself can be arranged as cleanly as lines on a map. And for a time, that dream did not seem dangerous. It seemed rational. In Chapter 3 of Seeing Like a State, James C. Scott gives this dream a name: high modernism. Not simply modernity, but a heightened, almost unshakable confidence in science, in technology, and in the ability of human reason to redesign the world from the ground up. It is the belief that if something is inefficient, it can be improved. If something is messy, it can be simplified. If something is traditional, it can be replaced. High modernism does not see society as something to inherit. It sees it as something to fix. And importantly, this way of thinking is not only logical, it is visual. To the high modernist mind, a well-ordered society does not just function well, it looks ordered. Straight lines, right angles, clear divisions. A rational society should resemble a rational design, and anything that does not fit that design begins to look like a problem. But ideas like this do not remain ideas. They become plans, and plans become reality. In Chapter 4, Scott turns from theory to something more concrete: the modern city, or more precisely, the planned city. Urban planners, architects, and officials began to ask a simple question: what if we could design a city from scratch? Not one shaped by history or habit, or the slow accumulation of human life, but one designed all at once. In this vision, the old city is a problem. It is chaotic, crowded, unpredictable. Its streets twist without logic. Its neighborhoods grow unevenly. Its functions overlap. To the planner, it is illegible, and so it must be replaced. In its place comes something new: the grid, wide avenues, separated zones, residential here, industrial there, commerce in its own district. Everything is categorized, everything is legible, everything is under control. From above, it looks perfect. In this vision was not just theoretical, it was built. In the mid-20th century, entire cities were designed from scratch, according to these principles. One of them was Chandigarh, in India, a city designed by the modernist architect Le Corbusier. It was meant to be a symbol of a new nation, rational, ordered, forward-looking. Wide roads, geometric sectors, strict functional divisions, a city that could be understood at a glance. But it really just looks like a lot of walking on a lot of concrete without a lot of natural places to gather. Something like a cross between a large university and an airport. Another was Brasília, built in just a few years as the new capital of Brazil. From above, it resembles an airplane, or a perfectly drawn diagram. Every zone defined, every function assigned, every movement anticipated. These were not accidents. They were deliberate attempts to create a fully legible society. And from the sky, they looked exactly as intended. But on the ground, people did not experience perfection. They experienced distance, disconnection, and spaces that did not quite fit the way human life actually unfolds. But this is where the problem begins, because a city is not a diagram. It is not a blueprint. It is a living system, formed by countless small decisions, habits, adjustments, and relationships, things that cannot be easily measured or planned or imposed. In the pursuit of order, something essential is removed: the informal, the local, the improvised, the knowledge people carry without ever writing it down. The small shop that survives because of foot traffic no planner predicted. The street that works because people use it in ways no design anticipated. The neighborhood that functions not because it is efficient, but because it is familiar. And so these cities, designed to be more rational, more efficient, more humane, often fail. Not because the intentions were bad, but because the model was incomplete. The plan assumed that if you organized the structure, human life would follow. But human life is not so easily arranged. What high modernism fails to see is that much of what makes society work cannot be formalized. It cannot be captured in a system. It exists in practice, in experience, in what Scott later calls practical knowledge. And when that knowledge is ignored or overridden, the system may still look orderly, but it no longer works. And this is not limited to cities. The same logic appears again and again in agriculture, in economics, in political systems. A simplified model is created. Reality is forced to fit it, and when reality resists, it is blamed. The lesson here is not that planning is wrong or that order is impossible. It is that there are limits to what can be designed, limits to what can be known from above, limits to what can be imposed without loss. Because a functioning society is not just a system, it is a process. It depends on things that are difficult to see, difficult to measure, and impossible to fully control. The high modernist dream was not foolish. In many ways it was admirable, but it mistook clarity for understanding, and order for reality. And when that mistake is made, what looks perfect on paper often fails in the world. In the next chapter, we move from cities to something even more ambitious, the attempt not just to redesign space, but to redesign society itself. I'll see you in the next episode.